So as brilliant as AEW Big Business was, the start really made me laugh because I'm a massive nerd. But Renee Paquette was here telling us about the show, running down the lineup, when a car pulled up, and rather than go up and say, oh, who is this? Renee Paquette just ran off. I was like, Renee, you and I have the same ilk. That's what I would have done too. Also, hello my friends and welcome to Ups and Downs. That's right, for the latest episode of AEW Dynamite. And I'm just going to give you a warning here, right? Everyone loves warnings in 2024. If you don't want to watch a bald guy be really positive about professional wrestling, well, you should still watch, because there's a comment box down there. You can get mad at me. Look at doing the dance of joy. Let's up those downs. That's right though, Dynamite / Big Business did kick off and we got this brand new song that we never heard before. And who the flub has just debuted in AEW? It's Mercedes Moné. You can't fault AEW for this presentation either, because I thought it was absolutely excellent. And some people are going, oh, other wrestlers have used versions of this tune before. Who the hell cares, man? Music is music. And I thought this remix was absolutely excellent. The whole CEO chant thing, well now every crowd around the country and the world is going to do that. Have you watched professional wrestling? That's fans' favourite thing. Mercedes also knows how to carry herself like a star, so this just felt like a whopping big deal. And what a nice person too. She was like, listen, thank you so much for the last 2 years. I really appreciate all your support. I was like, that's okay. I feel like it was all down to me. The worrying thing is some people actually think that. Wrestling also changed her life and opened the door for all the dreams that she has achieved, and she even name-dropped Eddie Guerrero here. And the best part is that she was like, hey man, you can do this too. And I like it. She's throwing inspiration out there, and now we can grab it, and all of us can go live our dreams. Remember, dare to fail. Mercedes then said it was time to get to business. I was like, can you believe it? For weeks, I've been told it was going to be big business, and now it's just normal business? What a waste of my time. She did put over the entire women's locker room though and said how excited she was to fight all these people, and she did mention Willow Nightingale, because of course that was her last match before she did get injured. So maybe she wants her revenge. Then got the big graphic that Mercedes Moné is all elite as she thanked Tony Khan when she just took off her ring jacket to reveal her wrestling gear. Once again, I was like, man, she just knows what she's doing. So let's face it, we have got all the momentum with this right now. And if we can capitalize on it, I think this will be a massive game changer. I mean, just go and watch it. It's like 10 to 15 minutes long, and it just feels like a big deal or a big business deal. I shouldn't be allowed to talk about this stuff, but hey ho, sometimes we just land on our feet, and my tootsie toes are right on this floor. Not just getting an up, it's a golden up. I absolutely love a sort of surprise, but we all knew it was coming. Wrestling debut, plug me in. Renee was then backstage with Samoa Joe. She ran away again. She did not. Instead, the champion was talking about Wardlow, his challenger for the evening, when he was like, listen, Wardlow, you've got a lot of debts to pay, and it's long overdue. He did it again like Britney Spears. What a good line. We also saw what the Undisputed Kingdom had been up to over the last 7 days, and they've made a very nice video that basically told the story of Wardlow. Now look, this was so well presented, I was a bit like, maybe Wardlow is actually going to win the AEW World title. Now that was never going to happen, because it would have been ridiculous, but the fact that even planted that seed in my brain, it must have worked. Now I do admit it was rather strange, because Wardlow just lost, but I'm also going to tell you this and do a 180. I thought this rocked too. That's because I think we need to take a moment, as sometimes our brains get wrapped in this wrestling nonsense, when really it can be super simple. Because you had a big guy in Samoa Joe, and you had a big guy in Wardlow, so they just rang at each other, they punched each other in the face, and this guy was trying to win, and that guy was trying to win, and at the end of the day, we could only have one W and one L. That's sports, baby. I shouldn't have said baby. Wardlow was so damn mad though, he threw Joe into barricade. And even when Samoa tried to get back, Wardlow was like, nope. And he took his face and he busted it. He also kneed Joe right in the jaw, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, how did he kick out of that? When Wardlow clearly hasn't been watching wrestling in 2024, because he went for the senton and he totally missed. Don't know what I'm looking up here. Imagine if Wardlow was on my ceiling, I'd ring the cops. Wardlow just wouldn't lay down though, which I really enjoyed. Once again, he was punching Joe. But when he went for the bomb of power, I think Samoa realized, well, I'm in a bit of bother here. This guy is kind of whipping my ass, so he kind of did a bit of a wiggle jiggle. He transferred it into the coquina clutch, and then Wardlow was like, I can't breathe. As his brain was like, wait a minute, we're passing out here, and if we pass out, we're gonna die. Match was stopped, Samoa Joe wins. Swerve Strickland also ran out straight after this with a chain, because he's a crazy guy, but he got a great response. And actually, wrestling security did all right here. Like a few of them got taken out, but we really didn't get a big brawl. That surprised me. Wrestling security usually sucks. So of course the follow-up is going to be massively important because we want to do something with Wardlow, but I could use more of this in my professional wrestling. Like I say, just two guys wanting to win, and then one wasn't able to do it. Also, when Samoa Joe was leaving here, one of these security guys was on the floor. He just kicked him off the stage. Oh my gosh, that made me laugh so much because deep down I'm a horrible man. I thought this was really good too. Giving it an up. When I discovered my new favorite wrestler. Who knew? Alex Marvez was indeed talking to the new elite when he was like, listen to me, Okada, why did you join the Young Bucks? When Matthew and Nicholas Jackson were like, that is disgusting, you have to use his full name. And that is because he deserves to be called the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada every single time. When Matthew explained, listen, we've been friends for 14 years, we've always had each other's backs. Also, I can think of 14 other reasons why Okada would do this. Now, of course, this is referencing the rumor that Okada is making a lot of money in AEW. And do you know what? If he is, more power to him. I don't care who you are, go get your bag. Okada then told Penta, Pac, and Eddie Kingston that he's going to flub him up later. When he turned to Marvez and was like, you do know it's Matthew Jackson's birthday. You should say happy birthday to him. This got so good though, because when Alexander did this, Okada was like, no. I mean, you've got to sing it. And he made Alex Marvez sing happy birthday. I tell you the reason this is so damn good, because we know that Okada is an absolute badass in the ring, maybe the best wrestler on the planet, but backstage, he is a super dickhead. So yeah. That's it. Sign me up. I love it. It's even better that he does this by the side of the Young Bucks because they totally get this side of wrestling too. So I could not be more excited about this. I would give it a 9 out of 10 on the Simon Miller scale. But to keep things nice and simple, I'm just going to give it an up. It was right into this match as well. Surprise, surprise. It was pretty damn brilliant. And of course, it was great to see Okada and Eddie Kingston square off because you're like, man, we're living in this crazy timeline again. How is this happening? Because Okada is a bad guy. He's like, man, I don't want to take on that dude. So we did tag out, but this is when Pac got in the ring, and man, have I missed this guy. Once again, if we are talking about some of the best in-ring talents in the world, Pac has got to be right up there. I mean, he just moves so effortlessly, I don't understand it. Nicholas and Penta soon went at it as well, so we completed the trio. When Penta and Pac were teaming up, and they were doing all of these Mortal Kombat combos, and even commentary were like, oh man, they're such good friends. I like that. It made me pleased. Okada and Eddie Kingston then finally got into it as they just chopped the shit out of each other, which is when Okada hit that flipping dropkick. I don't get how he does this, man. How does he get so high every single time? It's a thing of beauty. Matthew and Okada then decided they were going to take the mick out of some people's poses, which you cannot do in modern day wrestling. We've seen this time and time again. And Ed was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go over here. Penta's hand is looking quite warm right now. And he got the damn hot tag. That's when it looked like it was going to go bad too. Pac was back with this incredible drop kick. And that's when we got more combos, because Penta hit the stomp and Pac hit a 450, 1-2-0. Matt was then done, so he took Pac out with a face buster, but you know the deal. This just triggered everything. It's from nowhere Penta hit the Canadian Destroyer, so Nick super kicked him as Eddie smacked Nicholas. It was just go. Matt then decided they didn't need this in their lives. They distracted the referee, and without even thinking about it, Nick Jackson just went wham, and he kicked Eddie Kingston right in the balls. Obviously, he went down. Okada was there. Rainmaker, 1, 2, 3. So once again, they are the worst, best people ever. Okada made sure to look at that Continental Crown Championship for a good old while, and I could be wrong, you'll have to forgive me, but I think next week on Dynamite, we are doing this match. So we're not even waiting for the pay-per-view. I'm a little bit worried that Okada may absolutely destroy him, because quite clearly we are going to build him up to basically be Superman. But given that he is taking on Eddie, and Eddie has all the babyface sympathy in the world, that could work very well. Either way, March Dynamites are absolutely packed. Give it an up. Speaking of all that too, we then got reminded that next week it is Christian Cage taking on Adam Copeland in an I Quit match for that TNT Championship, when out came Will Ospreay. I do believe we may have a star on our hands. He got an absolute mega pop as everybody started to chant bruv, which is my favorite thing about wrestling, and he addressed Bryan Danielson. He was like, look, I think it's wonderful that me and Bryan are about to square off. I have been watching that guy for my entire career. The thing is though, Bryan had seen Ospreay saying, oh, I'm the best wrestler in the world. So as soon as they met in the locker room, Danielson was like, all right, well, you better prove it which is what they're going to do at the pay-per-view. Some people are actually saying, this is a rubbish story. Are you flipping mad? This is the best story when it comes to a sports-based presentation. He thinks he's the best. He thinks he's the best. Well, let's find out who the hell is the best. The only thing I got really scared about is that William started to talk about his match with Kenny Omega when he did that terrifying Tiger Driver. And everyone was going, oh, you shouldn't have done it. But as he stands here right now, he thinks it was totally worth it. So he's going to take this and he's going to times it by 2 when he takes on the American Dragon. Something mad is going to happen here. Somebody call my mother. Don't know why, she won't care. He also dropped in the line that it's either Ospreay's or Bryan Danielson's life on the line and he doesn't plan on dying. And honestly, he screamed this thing. And in terms of addressing to American-style promos, I think he's going to do okay. I also like the fact he ended it by saying, I'm Will Ospreay and I'm on another level, because that is once again, here's the word of the day, how he should be presented. Because who the flub can do what Will Ospreay can do in the ring? I mean, you could tell me no one, I'd probably believe you. The real highlight, though, is, of course, that Will Ospreay got through a first promo without swearing, which means we're going to bring it down. There it is. Did Will Ospreay get through the week without swearing? Counter, machine, I don't know, you can call it whatever the hell you want. And this week, it's yes. Bravo. This was really good, though, and if Will Ospreay does keep this up, my word, he can be the face and the star and the mega babyface of the company. And in terms of this match, well, it's probably going to be the match of the year, isn't it? Which is already saying something, given we are in March. Gianna Prazo then cut a backstage promo, and interestingly, she is not done with Toni Storm. Because she wants Toni and Mariah May to take her on in a tag team match, so she is going to go off and find a partner. And I was like, well, who the hell is this going to be? Answers on a postcard. What a show this was too, because up next was Darby Allin versus Jay White, and I swear, we did everything right. And that rhymes, so it must be correct. Darby was all taped up too after his match against the Young Bucks with Sting, so of course he put bandages around his ribs. And as we know, that is an all-protective plan. Nobody can hurt you if you put some paper around your midsection. And then Jay White hit him, and he crumpled like a leaf. Surprise, surprise. White also hit this chop that was so loud, even I went ow, because the decibel level was at such a degree, I thought, well, somebody must have attacked me. When, of course, Darby Allin tried for this ridiculous dive, but instead Jay White grabbed him and he threw him into Charlie the Chair. I was like, Darby, you were about to climb Mount Everest. Why can't you just calm down a little bit? He then used some of the steel steps as a launching pad as he threw Allin into the crowd. And even though Darby was able to fight back a little bit, eventually he climbed to the top ropes and Jay White went Karate Kid. He swooped his leg and Darby's head went right into Tina the Turnbuckle. I was like, man, Darby, you something else, bro. You just crazy. But my word, are you a compelling character. Somehow he still was able to bust out the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up for a 1-2. And by this point, you should see his chest, man. It was all like butchered up and stuff. He turned into meat. Jay White then somehow reversed a coffin drop in midair into a German suplex. This was absolutely amazing. But nothing will beat attempt 2. Because Darby Allin saw that Jay White was on the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring. He went to the top rope and he went to do the drop of a coffin. Jay White moved and Darby Allin just fell right on the floor. If I did that, I would break every single bone in my body. Somehow Darby Allin was fine, and he even beat the count of 10 at 9. That was the whole point, though. He was totally murked at this stage, so Jay grabbed him and he gave him the Blade Runner, and he got the 1-2-3. But this was just the beginning. Because the Guns joined their leader afterwards, and they acted like they were going to be nicey nice to Darby, when surprise, surprise, they turned on a dime. And damn it, they were going to Pillmanize his leg. He has to climb a mountain. Thankfully, the Acclaim then came out and they were like, listen, we're the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. This is not what we do. But when Max Caster and Anthony Bowens were helping Darby Allin to the back, instantly Jay White got Charlie the Chair and he smacked Daddy ass right in the head. And I did laugh a little bit because Max Caster and Bowens heard this. They just dropped Darby on the floor and they ran back in the ring. It didn't work at all though, because Bullet Club Gold absolutely whipped everybody's ass, and as soon as they could, they put Darby's leg back in that chair and they Pillmanized it with a bat, which means they have gone super duper mega heel. We have broken up the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. We can now probably unite these 6-man tag team titles so we just have one pair. I thought all of this worked. It was the right thing to do. It's listening to your audience and changing tact. Bravo. It also makes sense why we won't see Darby Allin for a while, because in wrestling land, he had his leg broken, but in real land, he's climbing Mount Everest. What a sentence to say. I also feel like we can use this to reheat up the Acclaimed as well, so this was an absolutely fantastic segment, and dare I say, it was a good bit of business. I should be fired up. Which sort of brought us to our random match of the evening, Chris Jericho and Hook taking on the Gates of Agony. Now I do get it, because Jericho has lost all his tag team partners because Sammy Guevara's not here and Kenny Omega is injured. And given that we had to do something with Hook after he did have that amazing match with Samoa Joe, at least it gets him on TV. And as for now, it's keeping his momentum going. This is good. I really like the Gates of Agony too, because they bring something completely different to the table. And man, the commentator said this 1,000 times, we are definitely trying to call this team Jerry Hook. That annoys me, dude. Hooker Co is right there. I'm going with Hooker Co. We made sure that Hooker Co did some double team moves to begin with too, so we could go, oh hi, they can be a good partnership. And the Gates of Agony were like, yeah, we don't care. And they grabbed Chris Jericho, they just threw him to the outside. Chris also got thrown into Allin the announce table, but you know how that works. It led to a bit old beatdown, but secretly he was probably snacking on a med pack when from nowhere he hit the lion salt. And he got the hot tag to the wonderfully haired warrior. He just T-bone suplexed everybody as Christopher hit a double axe handle. It's like, you damn right, I love that move. The whole time, Hook was just doing German suplexes. I mean, you should find somebody in your life as much as Hook likes doing German suplexes. Paul Khan eventually found himself in all the trouble though, because he was in the red run. This is when Chris got in there and he applied the walls of Jericho. So this dude was in a double submission, but then all of a sudden, Jericho saw that the owner was trying to get in the ring. He booted him in his face, and surprise, surprise, Khan passed out. Because of course he did. Nobody can handle double submissions. Who do you think you are? Barry? I don't know who Barry is, I just threw his name in there. It was a stupid name to throw in there, because I've already named Barry Barricade, I've totally ruined this joke. So look, this was alright, and I didn't really know what the direction for Hook and Jericho was going to be. When we got to an interview later, and Jericho was like, hey man, I think you're really good, maybe even world championship material, but let's prove it. You and I have a match next week. We are not in Kansas anymore, Toho. It is really interesting though, because Jericho has lost a lot recently, and Hook definitely shouldn't be losing, so I shall keep my eye on this. I am intrigued. I thought it was a fine match. Up. Renee was also chatting to Kyle O'Reilly during all of this, and man, O'Reilly was great here, because he's clearly talking from the heart, and he's like, listen, my injury was the worst thing ever. At one stage, I couldn't pick up my daughter. That's probably why we shouldn't go all crazy on social media. When a wrestler is injured, you don't know what they're going through. He has been looking through the roster though, and someone he is very impressed with is Brian Keith, which is why he wants to face him on Collision when in shouted Roderick Strong. Now actually, he's super happy that Kyle O'Reilly is back because they've been through everything together. And if O'Reilly wants to do it by himself, that's totally cool with him. And Roderick Strong will always be there for him. He then fist bumped all of them, but he kind of had that realization of, oh man, I am going to have to do it all by myself. Then he started singing the song. He didn't. So what is probably going to happen is that Roddy is full of it, and we are going to get Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly. I tell you, none of us are ready for that. That is going to be flubbing great. We then had a quick video reminding you that our main event is Riho versus Willow Nightingale, when we saw Riho warming up, and of course, who stopped by to say good luck? It was Mercedes Moné. Once again, everybody was treating her like she was a tippity-top star. Keep it up. Which of course led us to our main event, which was these two going at it. It was good stuff. Given the size difference too, Willow Nightingale was just using power to begin with. But that's when Riho realized, wait a minute, if you have power and I don't, I probably have speed. And she kneed her right in the face. I was like, here we go. So she is definitely not eating breakfast tomorrow, although that could be true for Riho as well, because the drop kick that Nightingale gave her after this, honestly, Riho flew back like she was in a Matrix movie. Riho was then going for a Northern Light suplex, but Willow was able to turn it into a bomb of power. But actually that didn't happen, because Riho hit the Hurricane Rana. I started clapping again. I'm like, man, that's some good transitions. It worked too, because Riho was then able to do the Northern Lights onto Nightingale. And honestly, I thought she was dead. She dropped right in her head, and this crowd went crazy, but it suddenly added to the match. I was in. This was especially true too, because Willow just got to her feet and pounced the life out of Riho. And then when they were on the outside, she went to do a somersault off the apron. She missed and she fell right into the floor. I was like, man, they got their working boots on. That then increased even further because Riho gave Nightingale a dragon suplex onto the damn ring apron. And by this point, I was like, man, they're killing each other. It was proper wrestling tennis at this point because it was back and forth. And by the time that Willow Nightingale hit this massive lariat, I was like, man, she could have taken Rio's head off. That's not true. It's not anatomically possible. You know, I like to have fun. I think at this point, Riho was a bit worried she wasn't going to win, so she hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, but it was not a good night for that move, because Nightingale grabbed her, gave her the Dr. Bomb, 1, 2, 3. We made sure they were all nicey nice afterwards, because they are good guys. When the lights went off, I was like, why do no wrestling shows pay their bills? Of course, it was the arriving Julia Hart, because she doesn't like Willow Nightingale, because Willow wants that TBS title. But this was a bit of a trick, because Willow was like, I shall fight you now, Julia. So who snuck up behind her and whammed her right in the leg? Of course, it was that damn Sky Blue. This began the beatdown, and you could see what was coming a mile away, but that just meant it was the right thing to do, because who made the save? It was Mercedes Moné. She absolutely thumped Sky Blue too before she gave her finisher to Julia Hart. And the coolest thing about this is look at the journey Julia Hart has been on, and now she's closing the show. I thought all of this ruled. Mercedes made sure to raise Willow's hand as well, but of course something may happen there because Moné may want her revenge, because we've already talked about it. And all of this I just thought was a wonderful bookend to a wonderful episode of Dynamite. I had a great time. It's getting it up, and it's one of those occasions where you can get mad at me for the counters, but I stand by it. Everything that AEW tried to do, they absolutely nailed, and if they can keep this going and move on to the next show and the next show and the next show, well, all of wrestling should be pretty damn good. Raw rocked, this rocked, I'm sure SmackDown will rock. I'm having the best time. So of course, overall the show is going to get an up as well, and speaking about all that, make sure you click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs for Monday Night Raw, and yes, I'm just a positive Pete about that too. Somebody shoot me out of the cannon. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Leave a comment with your honest thoughts, because you're allowed an opinion. Otherwise, have a great day, my friend. The Mercedes Moné era has begun. I'm very excited to see what is next.